What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel. Today, boy, this is going to be an interesting unboxing story, but I'm excited to dive into it because today we are unboxing from WWE Elite Series 81. It is stunning Steve Austin, and boy, does he look stunning in that packaging. Oh man, so happy to get this in the collection, and obviously the Hollywood Blondes will always go down as one of my all-time favorite tag teams. In fact, several years ago, I kind of made it a mission to kind of start watching everything from WCW 1993, which was kind of the startup of the Hollywood Blondes. Of course, both guys had been there for a couple of years at that point, but their first time as a team. In fact, I believe it was Super Brawl 3 in 1993. They teamed up, but they weren't actually the Hollywood Blondes yet, and they weren't matching yet. But you could see like there was something here, and of course, they went on to obviously become WCW World Tag Team Champions and have a great run, wrestling a lot of great tag teams, and for a short run had a really to me a very influential run in the industry. So Mattel announces this. I'm like, that's awesome, stunning Steve Hollywood Blondes, because the only time we've ever gotten Hollywood Blondes, Jack's Classic Superstars, the only time. Obviously, in WCW had the Galoob deal in about 1990, and then that kind of withered away. And we didn't get WCW figures, actually, I think until 1995 with the original San Francisco toy makers, which turns out were the Galoob guys, which I didn't know until the Toys That Made This episode, which I was like, oh, wow, how crazy. And obviously, by that point, Austin was pretty well gone, and Pillman wasn't around too much longer, and they really only made a handful of those guys back then. I think only like 12, 13 guys. Arn Anderson never got a figure. It was weird, the omissions that happened in that time frame. So not the best run for WCW figures, of course. But obviously, Jack's Classic kind of gave us a lot of can't miss figures, and the Hollywood Blondes 2-pack was definitely one of them. And Mattel doing this was awesome. Now, we later got, I believe in Series 100, we got a stunning Steve with the longer hair representing his TV title run. Well, this particular figure, when it was announced, I actually reached out to Steve Ozer, who works for Mattel, of course, big figure fan himself, and was pretty big on the in the social media world. Action Figure Attack, if you don't know, is his Instagram. And I was like, please tell me there's going to be a Pillman. And he goes, well, I don't know about ever, but if we can ever make it happen, we will. At that time, I didn't realize Pillman did not have a Legends deal anymore. And as most people know, with Mattel, they can't do anyone outside of a Legends deal, so they have to be under that contract to do the figure, per, I guess, the agreement with WWE. And Pillman did not have that at the time. As we know, probably about a year ago or so, Pillman re-signed a Legends deal, and he is now back in the Elite line. We now have a Legends Brian Pillman, which I will be unboxing next week. Because I mentioned before, with the tag teams, I want to start not doing the same video, but quickly together within a week. And so Pillman will be coming up first part of next week. But yeah, I definitely was excited to get this Steve Austin unboxed. And another funny story about this. This could be a longer video. I bought this when it came out, which I wasn't collecting Elites at the time. But I told myself, if I don't buy this now, I'm going to regret it later, because once they do a Pillman, I'll be like, oh man, I should have got that Steve Austin. And the secondary market could be through the roof. So I did buy it. Well, here's the kicker. I don't know where it went. I bought it. I stuck it in a closet, very literally, and was like, I'll unbox that later. Can't find it anymore. So one of two things happened. Either A, I literally misplaced it and I don't know where it went, and I'll probably find it months from now. Or I did what I sometimes do, and I sell stuff I'm not really into to fund things I am into. And I may have done that. I don't remember for sure. I don't remember selling it, but it's definitely possible I did. Because I've done that before, where all of a sudden I'm like, you know what, I really want to collect Star Wars The Black Series, and I want to buy a whole bunch of figures, so I'll go to a resale shop that has a bunch of Star Wars and trade in some stuff and kind of kickstart my collection that way. I've done that many of times, which I do regret oftentimes, because I'm like, oh, I wish I had that figure still. And this is definitely a case in point of what happened then, but we're going to take a closer look at Steve Austin. Of course, we got the extra hands. We got the classic Hollywood Blondes vest with the SS on there. We got the star trunks, the black and white boots, the WCW tag title, and the, I don't know what they call it, but the director clacker, I guess. Action! We've seen it, obviously, and that's something they use in the movies. Obviously, the Hollywood Blondes. I'm going to do that certified, authentic, stunning Steve Austin. Awesome picture of Mr. Austin there from a different era. What a roster here. We've got The Rock, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Street Profits, which I believe that's their first elites. Could be wrong on that. Stunning Steve Austin and Bianca Belair. It could have been her first elite too. I don't know for sure on that. Obviously, The Rock and Nakamura had been in the line for a while. Obviously, it doesn't say first time in the line for any of them because I think they had the basic style, but I don't know about elites. Bianca may have. Almost positive that was their only one at the time. So, again, Series 1 for Stunning Steve. And I don't think Pillman what is he in, like Elite 116, 117? So, it was a while for sure. Of course, we got here from Austin, Texas, 252 pounds, height 6'2". Career highlights: WCW Tag Champion, WCW United States Champion, WCW Television Champion. I like how they just made it about Stunning Steve. That was nice. As one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions, the Hollywood Blonde Stunning Steve was always ready for lights, camera, and action. Beautiful stuff. Looks like that picture, though, is from later, like 94 Steve with his singles run when he was U.S. Champion. Which, again, he was U.S. Champion after the fact, so... But you know what? Stuff like that doesn't bother me too much. It's those deep fact checks, like, well, actually, I try not to do that too much, but it is kind of... It is interesting when you notice stuff like that. Gonna pull this guy out of the package. One issue we may come up with these when we unbox them because they were so far apart. They have updated the Mattel articulation since then. And so I think Pillman will have that new articulation and the pinless joints. Oh, no twist ties. I do like that. My gosh, I wish that was a thing still. I get why they do it with all the figure swappers, but it sucks for the people who are trying to do it the honest way and still have to deal with all the twist ties and stuff. So, Pillman will probably have the pinless joints and the double jointed elbow, where Austin here has the old school articulation with the pin joint and the single jointed elbow. Not a huge deal in retrospect, but it's just something will be a little bit different about the two. Blondes there on the back, Hollywood Blonde, Stunning Steve on the vest. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, they actually put lights in their boots, like red lights, like you would see on the kids' shoes. And I heard on an interview that they would actually cut out the sole and glue in that light. So that would have been a nice touch. I don't think it ended up working like they were wanting it to, so they didn't do it long, which might be why that didn't happen too much. But still cool. So I believe, wasn't this his signature pose? Like he'd hold the camera up and like he was running the camera. Old school. Love the smirk there on Stunning Steve. I think that's a pretty good Steve Austin head. I would say, though, if you did not know about this run, you probably wouldn't peg him with that face. But, it's one of those things like when Stone Cold hit the scene, a lot of people weren't even aware that was the same guy because he did look so much different. And, his whole style changed and everything. His demeanor, everything was totally different. But yeah, I feel like this is a great figure, and one I'm so happy to get in the line. We're going to stand him up, make sure he stands up good. Looks like he does. Like I said, the WCW tag title, really, really nice. We're going to set that right there at his feet. The vest is excellent. The clacker, too, I was kind of surprised that it actually... Action. And I believe they did come to the ring with this, and I think Pillman comes with this as well. So, pretty cool. I mean, that's a pretty cool accessory. And I would have to say, that was probably made just for these guys, because I don't know where else they would have used that. Maybe with a Rock figure, maybe? I mean, but you think about it, like, where else would that even go? So the fact that they tooled that accessory just for both of these, well, at least, honestly, just for the Steve Austin at the time, because they didn't know a Pillman was coming. So, yeah, definitely interesting. I love the old school WCW tag title. I love that we're getting some of those old school belts. I have that new Greatest Hits Ron Simmons coming up, and he has the old school WCW title. Not the big gold, the other one, which I think is really, really cool, so I'm excited to get that. I'm actually going to display these with the WCW tag titles because I think that that's really, really cool. Both of them include that. No real nitpicks on the figures at all. I don't think that was the style knee pad Steve Austin wore, but I feel like they work with the figure. I do love the black and white boots. That's Hollywood Blondes if I've ever seen it. This guy's awesome. It's just as good as I was hoping, and like I said, it was a glowing omission from the Elite Collection. So to get the blondes here in 2025, I could not be more ecstatic. But like I said, so going back to the Steve Austin, I had to order this from eBay, and I had it kind of lined up to record like this week, and I didn't have the figure, and I'm like, oh crap! I literally got this in the mailbox 10 minutes ago, and already I'm unboxing it because I've wanted to unbox these for so long. And like I said, Pillman will be coming up some point next week. But yeah, the Hollywood Blondes, what can I say? One of the all-time best tag teams, an unforgettable run, definitely a moment in time for sure, and a set I'm so happy to have. And props to Mattel because they could have easily done 3 other Pillmans. We could have gotten a re-release of Flyin Brian with the Bengal tights. We could have got Heart Foundation Pillman, Loose Cannon Pillman, which is kind of also 4 Horsemen Pillman. Even like the 95 run Pillman where he's wearing like the red tights and stuff. We could have gotten all of that. But they knew that they needed to get this out there, and they made it happen. I'm hoping at some point we will get that Powers of Pain Barbarian to go along with that Warlord. I think that would be great if we ever get him under a deal. But there's so many legends now that we all want to see. I like that he can hold the clacker on his way down the ring as they are defending the tag titles. Very, very cool stuff. So Mattel's doing a good job. We know a lot of new legends have all signed Legends deals, so I assume by SDCC we're going to get some pretty big surprises. I know Kona Crush is kind of on the top of everybody's list. Repo Man would be amazing, obviously, with Demolition under a new deal. So it'll definitely be cool. But let me know, do you have Stunning Steve in your collection? I also have the Hollywood Blondes Stunning Steve as well. I thought the Hollywood Blondes, the TV title, Stunning Steve with the robe. I got that one coming up. Probably I'll wait a little bit, but that will be coming up at some point here on the channel. So let me know in the comments down below. You a Stunning Steve guy? Do you like Stunning Steve? What other versions of Stunning Steve would you like to see? Because there's at least probably the 94 version with maybe a little bit more receding hair and that different type of vest. But I'll tell you one that I would really like to see that we haven't seen yet. How about Superstar Steve Austin from his time in ECW? Obviously not the longest run in the world, but you could do the Steve-A-Mania shirt. You could do just the trunks. I think he wore a bandana a lot and had the more close-cropped hair. Wasn't quite bald, and it was definitely early Stone Cold before he was Stone Cold, but definitely would be cool. And, of course, the Ringmaster we just got not too long ago, so it'll be interesting to see. But, of course, also check out some of my other unboxing videos. Recently, I unboxed Shadowhawk from the Spawn line. Check that out. How about The Undertaker dressed as Kane from the Mattel Elite line? Very, very cool unboxing. Check that one out as well. How about some deeper cuts? How about the Animal Warriors? I've unboxed 3 different Animal Warriors. Check those out. And how about some Thundercats like the Lion-O and Monkeyan? And then, of course, from the McFarlane Music Maniacs, how about Alice Cooper? All unboxed right here on the channel. Also, check out What's on the Pegs every Saturday to literally find out what I'm finding in my toy hunts. In fact, I just found out today a new toy shop is opening up where I live. So, very, very cool. So, one more stop will be added to the toy hunts pretty soon, which is always a good thing. And then, of course, check out Tales of the Toy Box. 2 episodes are currently up with a new episode dropping every month on that one. And then, of course, the TV Toycast podcast every Thursday with me and Travis. We have a different main event, and we're talking all different kinds of stuff. Things that we're finding, things that we're into, things we're not into, all the news for the week, all that can be found over there on the TV Toycast podcast every Thursday, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for checking out the TV Toycast YouTube channel. That is Stunning Steve Austin, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.